Okay, we're going to be playing a long 60-minute game today against Stephen, my friend. He started off one knight f3, and we're both going to be playing in the Major Open at the British, so we could play some long games. So this is the first one we've actually played online. And he started off with the Reti opening, which is sometimes what he plays, but he does play e4 sometimes as well. So what should we do to this? Should we be symmetrical? Should we play c5? If we play c5, we'll maybe go into symmetrical English, which is a bit drawish. So I think let's be symmetrical. Let's play knight f6. I don't know if we're going to get all this video done, because it's going to be very long. It's going to be like a 2-hour video if it was the full match, so I don't know if anyone would really have the stamina to watch all that, but we'll see how far we go. Hopefully I won't blunder after about 5 minutes, because Stephen's, quite a very strong player. Okay, so he's playing g3. So the question is, do I want to fianchetto myself, or do I maybe want to play d5, c5, maybe get a broad centre? Or maybe I could... let's think. Well, I think I'm going to play g6, and then maybe try and... I wonder if I could maybe try and move order him into some sort of close Sicilian or something, I don't know. I think I definitely want to be playing c5 at some point. Okay, so all very symmetrical at the moment. And now he's gone into sort of like an English system. So the question is, do I want to be in a symmetrical English? Do I want to play that sort of game? Or do we want to maybe make it a bit more unbalanced? I mean, we could just castle for now, and then maybe eventually play c5 ourselves, and d6, then e5. Okay, so we could try and play like a King's Indian, but that's not really what I wanted to do. I'm probably playing into his hands a little bit here, because he knows these systems better than I do. I mean, we could play d5 now, and go into some kind of maybe like a Grunfeld setup. So d5, c takes, knight takes, that's not too bad. That's like a Grunfeld, so it kind of is a Grunfeld. I mean, I could still play c5. I think if he takes, then that should be fine. I can always win the pawn back with queen. I might just play c5 anyway. I mean, sort of a system I'd be a little bit more familiar with. I mean, he hasn't played he can't play e4 at the moment, so we might just play c5. It's a little bit more like a Sicilian, which is, kind of more what I'm used to. And also, I suppose it's a little bit like a modern Benoni. I could play d6 and maybe e6 and go for like a Benoni formation. And the problem is as well with the modern Benoni. I know Stephen's usual lines against the modern Benoni involve like an early e4 and f4, but he's with him committing his knight to f3 fairly early. You know, it's quite hard for him to get e5 in really early. You know, because the knight's kind of in the way. So perhaps, you know, a Benoni sort of setup would be good here. So with that in mind, I think I'll play d6. And in playing d6, you know, I can maybe get an early bishop g4 in and get rid of that light squared bishop, because in these sort of setups, you know, the light squared bishop quite often isn't such a good bishop for black. So I wonder if he's going to play h3 now and stop me doing that. If he doesn't, I think I'm going to be seriously considering bishop g4 and then sort of an early e6. And then maybe, or you know, I could play this. This is the thing with the Benoni setup. There's so many plans. You know, I could be playing a6 and aiming to get b5 in. If I play a6, obviously he'll play a4. So you know, he's locking down on that square. Okay, so he wants to play e4 himself, but it's going to be, as I say, it's going to be hard for him to get e5 in without playing f4 because this knight's in the way. If I play bishop g4 now, maybe I should wait for him to play e4 before I play bishop g4. Maybe I should just play a6 first. Play a6 first. Because if I play bishop g4 now, I think he might just move the knight and then try. I think he's going to want to get f4 and e4 in. Whereas if I play a6 now, he's going to play a5. Sorry, a4. Or I could see. Yeah, I could even play something like knight a6, which would also fit in. Well, there's a guy at our club called John Wordsworth who plays Benonis, and he often does stick the knight on d7, and I think sticking the knight on d7 might be okay in these systems because it's, you know, I think with him not being able to play f4, or it's going to take him a couple of moves to play f4. I think maybe his plan's going to go knight d2. e4, f4, e5. I think that's what he's going to play for. So, you know, we're going to try and get b5 in. Try and get our counterplay on the queen side. So the question is, do I want to play a6? To which he plays a4. And then I can reroute the knight via d7 rather than the plan of knight a6, knight c7, a6, b5. That's another way of going about it. If I play knight a6, he can. See, I don't really want to play e6 straight away because I want to keep this option of playing bishop g4. But while he's still got I'd like to play that one once he's got rid of that pawn on e2. Because then, you know, he hasn't got the option of retreating the knight. So, I think I'm going to play knight a6. Knight a6, knight c7, and aim for a quick b5. So if he plays this knight back to d2, I don't think he's going to do that. I'm going to play the here. I wonder if he's going to try and move this knight.